Hey guys, Ronnie here with another podcast. I actually squished one in this week. I'm so excited. Actually, I also just finished recording a video for Greenlight Bites 2. Little Bean is napping, so it's great because I have some time on my hands. Not really because I should be cleaning, but if you could see my house, it's a really sad state of affairs. But I choose to do this. I'd much rather do this. This is way more fun than pushing a vacuum around. Anyway, I got lots of great questions. I'm going to get myself set up here. Let's see here. And the funny thing is that the first question is very relevant to the video that I just recorded for Greenlight Bites. This was really funny. So let me get right into that first question, and I'll show you what I mean. All right, so the first question is from Betty, and Betty says, Ronnie, can you please send me a link to a print version of your paper bag popcorn recipe? I have looked all over for it and only find the video. Thanks very much. Okay, Betty, I don't think I actually have a print version, so I will definitely work on that. But the reason why this is so funny is because I'm eating popcorn right now. And the video that I just recorded for Greenlight Bites, I can't eat when I'm recording, but is about another microwave popcorn idea. So I am working on that, and I will definitely, below this video, put a link to the Greenlight Bites page, which will have a new video about a popcorn idea, and then I will also write up the instructions on how to make kerneled popcorn in your microwave so you can save some money and not have to buy the microwave popcorn bags, which is what I've been doing for quite some time now. So, very timely question, Betty. I just thought I'm like going through and I'm plucking the next 5, and then I read her, and I was like, oh, that's hysterical. I was just talking about popcorn. Okay, so I'm going to move on. That was a quick question. I will answer Betty's question through a link underneath the video as soon as I post this. All right, next question is from Brandy. And it's a little bit longer, so bear with me as I read. Brandy says, oh, Ronnie, some advice, please, smiley face. I know I always interrupt when I'm reading the questions, but I love when people, like, maybe because I do it, like, drip their email correspondence with smiley faces and LOLs and ha-has and stuff like that, because sometimes it's hard to come across in print the way you really want to. So anyway, smiley face. So Brandy says, so I'm dating a man with 3 children, 3 very, very wonderful but picky children. We're talking they won't eat anything but macaroni and cheese, frozen chicken fingers, and mashed potatoes. Wow. Have they met my husband? We've been trying to educate them on balance and nutrition without hitting them in the face with it. And they are constantly asking about races and walks and working out like Ray and I do. But when I first came on the scene a long while back, their mother basically told Ray that I'm messing up. She didn't mess up. Their mother basically told Ray and that I was crazy, that my eating disorder issues could be contagious, and that kids don't need to be educated on things like nutrition and exercise that young. Yeah, because why that young? Might as well wait until they're, adults and already have issues. Anyway, they are 10.5, 9, and 6. I mostly am wondering if you have any advice for encouraging healthy habits that I can incorporate without being insulted and slapped in the face by mom. I've been seeing Ray for 8 months now, so I share meals with them quite often, and it's hard to know how to answer when they ask why Ray and I eat different foods than they do at dinners. Anyway, figures you can give me ideas on ways to encourage without having my issues thrown upon the children. Sigh. On a side note, if you would have told me 4 or 5 years ago that I would have this problem, I would have laughed. Oh, how life changes. Yes, it does. Wow, Brandy, this is a tough one because you're dealing with a lot of, possible animosity and relationship issues and those kinds of things, which is really not your problem at bay, which is trying to educate the children in your life about how to eat healthier. So, as always, all I can do is give you my opinion. I think if I was in the same situation, I would try really hard to not ever come across as if I'm purposefully educating or lecturing the children, because you know how children are, they'll come back and they'll say, oh, Brandy, we were over Brandy's house and she told me all about why strawberries are good for me. You know what I mean? So I think you have to be more covert than that. So the approach that I would take, one, and I don't know how this is going to fly with your situation, is I would stop making 2 dinners. And I would basically say that in our house, and I know this, again, this is very tough for someone to do who's kind of in a stepmotherly type of role, but in our house, we make dinner together, and this is what we eat. And we all eat the same things. And so maybe that means that you slowly start to migrate from a mac and cheese, mashed potato style meal to interjecting healthier things. And you do it in a way where you're not lecturing, that doesn't seem odd, that you're not changing the family diet overnight, or, you know what I mean? So maybe you guys as a family, and I really think cooking with the kids is key. Like, I really think having them involved in the kitchen, you know, setting the table, peeling the potatoes, or whatever it is that they can do at their level is really important, because then you're making kind of the family meal. It's an event that you guys do together and you're all involved, and you'd be surprised the kind of conversations that come about when you're all dealing with food. So, you know, so maybe your first meal, you do things that you know that they're going to like you do the mashed potatoes and the chicken fingers, and you do, you know, a side of steamed broccoli or something like that. And then maybe the next time, you know, you have dinner, you replace the mashed potatoes with sweet potatoes, but they still get the chicken fingers and they still have the broccoli. So, you know what I mean? It's kind of like a gradient, and you slowly start to migrate over their dinners. Are they going to like it? Are they going to, you know, throw fits? You know, I'm sure. And, you know, you have to find the right level of interaction with these kids where you don't feel like the mean, nasty stepmother who's trying to change their diet. And you're, you know, it's definitely, I can understand this is a very delicate situation. But I think my advice would be to involve them more in the food, to have a little bit of a compromise, serve something that they like alongside of some new, more healthy vegetable-based dishes, and have them try them. Don't force them to eat them, you know, but have them there, and maybe they'll start to surprise you. Because I think the more you have separate meals, the more you're reinforcing an us-them mentality, and I don't think that's really what you want to do. Like, I've been, you know, I have a 6-year-old now, and actually I'm quite impressed by him the last few dinners that we've had, because I've just literally placed food in front of him. He's just eaten it. But that was after years and years of me refusing to make something special for him, and having a few nights where he went to bed not eating much, or, you know, a few nights where he wasn't allowed to leave the table until he tried one bite. Just one bite you have to try. That's my rule. So it's definitely not going to happen overnight, but I think if you slowly start to interject these things, make them involved in the meal, serve something that they like along with something new, and you don't make it front and center. Don't make the discussion about healthy eating front and center. Have it come out through their interests in a way. You know what I mean? Like, you know, it's, so I think, again, it will come out in conversation while you guys are cooking together, which I think would be perfect. So I don't know if that helps. And again, it's really, in a way, it's hard for me to put myself in your situation. I can't imagine being, you know, the other woman coming in and feeling like you're changing around what's going on with those kids and their mom. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of, and I can definitely understand the animosity that's coming from both sides, but the thought that you don't educate kids on food and nutrition in, you know, that young, I think is utterly ridiculous. I mean, I think you start from the day that they're born. So, I don't know. I hope that helps. Take it one day at a time. Introduce, well, maybe start like a new, you know, again, not beating them over the head of it, but make it fun, like where it's you know, let them pick something new out of the grocery store when you guys go together, or if you go together, or take a family trip to a farm stand and have them pick out some fresh berries, or, you know what I mean? So again, getting them involved. So I can talk about this forever. It's kind of a passion of mine to try to get kids to have more interest in what they're eating. I know for me right now with the 6-year-old, he's been bad at breakfast for some reason. All he wants is cereal. That's it. And so I'm trying to expand him a little bit and say, you know, let's add a scrambled egg, or let's have some berries on the side or something. And so we've been having those conversations about food groups right now. He's right at that age, I think, where he, you know, understanding the food groups is kind of important for him. And so I let him pick out something from 3 or 4 of the food groups. So I don't know. I think that looks great for kids. Okay, I'm gonna move on. All right, next question is from Erica. And Erica says, so, ... I am a lifetime member of Weight Watchers as well. I have always lost the weight after a baby and then gotten pregnant again. Oh my gosh, how many kids do you have? My little one is now 2, and for over the last year, I've been in maintenance mode. But I really struggle between following the program and wanting to feel like I don't have to, but I already know all the points of everything, so I'm always mentally calculating anyways. What did you do to maintain? Just try and eat healthy or continue tracking points? Oh my gosh, Erica, this is also a very timely question for me because I am trying to lose it's pretty much the last 10 pounds that I gained in this last pregnancy. And I'm struggling a little bit. You know, the first 20 after baby came out pretty fast. Most of it's probably water weight and whatever. And now I'm kind of facing this dilemma of, do I buckle down and diet again just to lose those 10 pounds? Or do I keep trying to eat more intuitively and kind of listen to my body and hopefully that the scale will kind of, equalize where I want it to fall? And I'm constantly in 2 camps on this. I really don't know what the right answer is right now. I can tell you prior, for me, the journey of going from counting diligently to, listening to myself better and kind of even ignoring the concept of points happened over the course of 3 years, maybe even 4 years. So it definitely was this, I would kind of get away from points and then go back and get away and then, you know what I mean? So it was definitely a journey where going from kind of more of a tracking mentality to a intuitive mentality took a long time. And now I feel like I'm a really good maintainer, which is an accomplishment that I probably should pat myself on the back for, but when you become a really good maintainer, you tend not to, you lose that, how do I lose weight? Little, nugget of information. And that's where I think I am right now. I'm at this point where I'm maintaining my weight. I'm losing a little, gaining a little, losing a little, staying the same. And, so I kind of settled into a weight. And I don't think it's a plateau. It's not a plateau because I'm not really actively tracking and knowing that I have calorie deficits and those kinds of things. It's because I'm not sure I want to be there again. But I may have to go there if I do want to lose these last 10 pounds. And I think this is very relevant to people who have 5, 10, 15 pounds to lose. I think this is almost a non-issue for people who have, more 25, 50, 75, 100. When you change your diet that drastically to, when you start removing processed foods or fast food and you're eating more vegetables and you have more weight to lose, the weight tends to come off a little bit easier. And even after a pregnancy, the first, you going from pregnancy eating to post-baby eating. And when you change up your plan, your weight starts to drop a little bit. But once you get down to the nitty-gritty and you're kind of in, and even if you do have more to lose, and you're kind of in that you lost a significant amount of weight, like say 10, 15, 25 pounds already. And then you kind of fall into this maintenance zone with that. And then you almost have to figure out what it is, reevaluate and say, do I want to go down into a tracking mode to lose that? I mean, I know for me, and maybe other people don't feel this way, I'm hitting the point where I think I might have to get into a tracking mode to actually get to lose those last 10 pounds. Versus a maintenance mode where my weight is staying consistently. I'm definitely not gaining to the point where I feel like I'm out of control. And some of you might know, and I talked about this on prior podcasts where, there used to be 2 states I was in, gaining or losing, gaining or losing, gaining or losing. So I was either gaining at a significant clip, because I'm binging and eating, or losing, fasting, doing crazy diet things, and there was no in between. I have now happily found the in between. But there may be situations where I want to go again towards a calorie deficit and start to lose again. So Erica, this is a really great question, and you kind of just gave me a little bit of fodder to go through a couple of things that I've been thinking about. So you ask, your specific question is, what do I do to maintain, try to eat healthy, or continue tracking points? I'm at the try to eat healthy stage. And like you, old Weight Watcher points, I can look at anything and pretty much give you what the point value is within 1 point. I don't, it's just one of those things that's ingrained in me. But I don't think about them anymore. I just say, okay, it's lunch, I'm hungry, you know, oh, the husband wants to go to fast food. I don't all of a sudden order, you know, 2 double cheeseburgers and a large fry and a chocolate shake like I used to. That doesn't happen. I go and I get a salad. I share a couple of his fries. So it's much more, it's laid back. I don't count how many fries I ate. I don't, you know what I mean? It's not that point. And I don't know if very many people, I'm sure there are some, that can continue that diligent weighing out everything they possibly ever put in their mouth ever again. You know, if you can, more power to you. I still weigh things. There's certain things that I weigh, like cheese, because it gets out of control fast, or cereal, because I tend to want 18 servings in a bowl. So there are a few things, but I definitely don't track points anymore. So Erica, I hope you find that balance and figure out, and I'm in the same kind of, almost in the same boat as you are. We're both kind of figuring out how to maintain and lose a little bit of more weight post-baby. Okay, I am going to move on. Next question is from A. A says, hi Ronnie, thanks for all the time you invest on the blog. I was wondering if you had difficulty at the beginning of your journey internalizing how overweight you were. During my heavy times, I have always been around 220. This recently crept up to 250. Problem is, most of the time I don't feel, in quotes, like 250. And when I look in the mirror, it doesn't really register that I've gained so much weight. Could there be such a thing as reverse body image issues? Any suggestions? Thanks, Ronnie. A, I totally think there is. And I think, yes, yet another timely question. Because I was thinking about this yesterday with myself. But I have had other questions, or conversations with people where we have been on total opposite ends of this spectrum. For me, I have in the past always saw myself larger than I was. Even now, I can look back and, you know, again, like I said, I have a couple pounds, 10 pounds post-baby. None of my clothes are really fitting right now. I picked up a few pieces just so I would feel comfortable. But I look in the mirror and I think back to what body I was in before I had the baby. I don't think I realized I was as small as I was, because, now I feel pretty good about myself, and I'm actually at a weight which I was around high school, freshman year of college, where I thought I was so fat. And I actually said this to the husband the other day. I'm trying to put on a pair of shorts from last summer, and they're too snug. They're not going to work. You just really shouldn't be wearing them. Not because you look horrible, but just because you feel like they're just too big and they're kind of cutting into your thigh. Just so I put them on, and I looked at the shorts. I'm like, man, I was really tiny last year, and I would have never in a million years have said that last summer. I would have been like, oh my God, I feel kind of big. Am I gaining weight? I put on 5 pounds. So I do still suffer from fat talk issues. So, but it made me realize that, again, how we see ourselves, I don't think is ever really truthful. We either think we're we're bigger than we are or smaller than we are. So I've had these conversations with people. And I remember once, I think it was Blog Her or Blissum or a blogging conference, and I can't remember who I was speaking to, but we were laughing about it, that we were completely on opposite ends of the spectrum. I always felt like I was bigger than I was, and she always felt like she was smaller than she was. And frankly, I'm jealous of the people who think that they're smaller than they were, because to me, that's it's a happy place to be. Like, those are the people that strut their stuff and are confident in their bodies. I mean, maybe not. Maybe it's just, how you always look at someone else and think they have it better than you. Or, you always want what you don't have. Like, if you have straight hair, you want curly hair. If you're blonde, you want to be brunette. it's kind of just the way I think humans are. At least I am. I don't know if anyone agrees with me, but so I do think there is such a thing as reverse body image, and I do think we almost sometimes lose touch with our bodies, and whether or not you're seeing yourself bigger or smaller than what you are, I think it's kind of a symptom of not knowing your body, and also maybe being a little bit too preoccupied with your body. I know when I get into a zone where I'm eating good and I'm working out and I'm happy and I'm doing activities with the kids, and I don't think about my body, and I think that's what I strive for. Like, I don't want to have to worry about it, and sometimes the level of, or what works for me, is distraction, but distraction in a good way. Like, I am enjoying life so much that I don't have time to think about things like whether or not I look too small or too big, or you know what I mean. And sometimes we get into these, I don't know, mentalities, like where I am now, my pants are a little snug. It constantly is reminding you about something, like I'm reminded that I'm a little bit bigger than last year, or, I'll see a picture of myself, last summer, and then I'm reminded that I put on 10 pounds, or like in your case, you look in the mirror and you're kind of like, I look fine, and you're kind of reminded that the scale has gone up, and why do I still feel like I look okay? And so you kind of remind it, but I think we have to work really hard to kind of get past that and do the things that we want to be doing regardless of those things. I don't know. I feel like I'm babbling now. I'm getting worse at the babbling, I think. But anyway, I do think there is, and I don't think you're alone. And I love it if people in the comments can share kind of whether or not what end of the spectrum they're on. Do you see yourself smaller than you are, or do you see yourself bigger than you really are? What's your take on that? It's a great question. I can ponder that for quite some time, but I'm gonna. Okay. Next question. Let me see. Okay, I'm doing good on time. All right, last question. And I'm going to be super truthful, honest. This has been a question that I have been getting over and over and over and over again. And it's not that I'm avoiding it. I just literally have not been motivated and or have found the time to address it. So let me read Jen's question and know that about 15 other people have sent me the same question. So I'm just going to use Jen's, and I'm going to address this finally for good, and hopefully I'll find a time to take pictures. All right, you have no idea what I'm talking about, so let me read Jen's question. Jen's question says, "Hi Ronnie, you may have already addressed this in a previous post, which I kind of have a few times, but not really. If you did, I'm sorry, and you can point me in the right direction. Would you be willing to share with your readers the effect of your pregnancy had on your tummy tuck, if at all? The reason why I'm asking is that I had my first baby 15 months ago, and I gained a ton of weight post-pregnancy. I'm just now starting to get close to my goal weight, within 20 pounds, but my tummy looks gross. I want a tummy tuck now, but my husband is urging me to wait until we're done having children. I'm 30. Any advice? Love your site, and I've been following you for years. Thanks." All right, Jen. Yes. Okay. I feel like I have not talked about plastic surgery or the tummy tuck in a while, because it's really been a while. I actually was looking through my archives and I was like, wow, I used to write quite a few posts about this, because it's kind of a hot topic. But, so for those of you who don't know, in 2006, I think, I had a tummy tuck after my 70-pound weight loss and after the birth of my first son. At that time, didn't want any more kids. So I was going into that decision with the thought that I was done bearing children. And I did ask the doctor at the time. I said, what would happen if I did get pregnant? What's the big deal? Because things happen, as we can see. And he said, it's not that big of a deal. You would undo a little bit of the work. You can always get it fixed again, which, let's not even go there with the word fixed and that kind of thing. But, so I was very happy with the results of my tummy tuck. And when I started bouncing around the idea with the husband about having another child, it crossed my mind slightly, like, maybe I shouldn't, because, I have a tummy tuck. But then I thought, how bad would it be if I chose not to have another child for vanity reasons? And for me, that wasn't, I wasn't going to let the fact that I had this procedure done stop me from doing what I know felt right, which at that time, it felt right to have the tummy tuck in 2006. And in 2010, it felt right to try to have another child. So I'm a big believer in you do what feels right for you. And so we tried and successfully had little Bean. So the effects of the tummy tuck, I think throughout the pregnancy, and you guys saw my pregnancy videos. I can link to the first one, which has a whole stream of pregnancy videos there where I recorded once a week. My tummy definitely didn't grow as large as it did the first time I was pregnant, probably because my muscles were much tighter. I was also in much better shape. So post-fact now, I'm quite surprised at how the tummy has held up. It's definitely not as flat as it was. I will show you in a minute. But it's also not what I had, and if you look back at pictures, I'll link to my tummy tuck post underneath the video. What I had after the initial weight loss and after the birth of my first son was literally rolls of skin that I could peel away from my body. Like it was like separate from, like I had this skin tissue that literally was just hanging. Now, I don't have any of that after giving birth, after a tummy tuck. And the way that I like to think about it, because I had a conversation with a friend about this, and she's like, oh, basically you're going to undo everything. And I'm like, not really. You don't really undo it. I like to think of it more like after the tummy tuck is what my midsection would have been like if I never yo-yoed and gone up 75 pounds or, like the skin that kept growing and shrinking and growing and shrinking and growing and shrinking. All that's been taken away, and now I'm left with what a normal belly would have looked like. And so, really, my tummy midsection looks like it would have if I was a normal person without yo-yo dieting who gave birth, and now, you know what I mean? At least that's how I like to do that. Maybe I'm wrong. And people, I'm sure, will chime in. So let me try to show you, I guess. I haven't done this since I was pregnant. Kind of feels weird. So I'm still wearing like baby doll tops, but there's the tummy post baby, and you can see my scar a little bit. Let me not suck anything in. There. I'm a little thicker through here, but honestly, there's no skin. It's not skin hanging, you know what I mean? And before, I mean, literally, again, you can see in pictures, I just had rolls of skin like dough, So tummy tuck results post-pregnancy, I'm very happy with. I'm hoping, the little thickness that I'm feeling goes away with the last 10 pounds that I lose, but frankly, I'm getting older. It's just, I don't know. I guess the desire to have an absolutely perfectly flat stomach, it just isn't there as it was 5-6 years ago. I'm interested in a different place. So, there's the tummy tuck post-baby. And I've been, honestly, planning on taking pictures so I can post it on my tummy tuck journal page to show people what it looks like. Actually, what I'll probably do is crop this out and put that up there and people can look at the video. Okay, so Jen, I hope that helps. I mean, my advice to you would be, if you're absolutely planning on having additional kids, I don't know what your time frame is like, I would wait, because why not? But if you're not sure, or if there's going to be at least 3 or 4 years, you have to really realize that and again, talk to your doctor, because a plastic surgeon will definitely give you an honest opinion. But you have to remember that it takes a year really, it took me a year to really, really recover from the tummy tuck fully. So if you think about it, if you have a baby today, then 6-7 months later, you want to have a tummy tuck. and then then a whole other year goes by, you may be thinking about having that second children, and you're not even child, and you're not even completely healed yet. Do you know what I mean? So talk to your doctor. You know, it's a decision you have to make with them, but just know it's not the end of the world to give birth post tummy tuck. It happens, and people get tummy tucks for a lot of different reasons, and a lot of mine was physical, but also psychological. So, all right, there you go. There it all. This is my tummy. All right, I'm gonna go, guys, and sorry about that bang. I will not see you next week for a podcast because I will be at the beach. However, I will be back the week after with another podcast. Thanks for watching or listening, and I will see you soon. Bye, guys.